duration of activity. Okay, duration of activity. The duration of activity can be of two types. Either it can be deterministic or it can be probabilistic. Deterministic, from the name itself it is clear. Deterministic means that the activity is certain. Okay, suppose I am saying that you have an activity A, and I am saying certainly it is going to take t equal to 5 days to finish that activity. So I am certain. So this type of activity is deterministic activity. Okay, deterministic activity. Okay, so deterministic activity, that is the activity previously done before. Okay, repetitive activity. We have already discussed that repetitive activities comes under CPM. Okay, in the next topic we have probabilistic activities. Okay, probabilistic activities is the activity that is done for the first time. Okay, so you are a little uncertain about the duration of activity. Since you are uncertain about the duration of activity, we need a probabilistic estimate of duration. Moving on, PERT. PERT, as we have discussed in the last lecture, that PERT is mostly associated with research projects or defense projects like Mars mission, for which the duration, since it has not been done before, you are very uncertain about duration. Okay, so under PERT you can remember it like this: some sort of development of missile programs can come under PERT. Let's briefly introduce PERT. PERT stands for Project Evaluation and Review Technique. Okay, it is used when accurate duration of activity is not known. When your activity duration is not known, then we are going to use PERT. It was first used by US Navy for the development of some missile. We use probabilistic estimate of duration and proceed. Okay, this much we have already seen. This part is very important. It is directly asked in objective. PERT is event oriented. Okay, it is very clear. Suppose you are having an activity like this. You are having an activity A and you are using PERT. Since you are using PERT, you know that the duration of this activity is unknown. So we have to rely on event instead of your activity. So your PERT is going to be event oriented. Opposite to PERT, you have your CPM. Okay, CPM is activity oriented. Obviously, the activity that you are using in CPM has certain duration, or it has deterministic duration. So CPM is activity oriented. In the first lecture, I think we discussed about bar charts and milestone. Bar charts are usually activity oriented. Milestone chart, as you must have seen, in bar chart you had activity like this, isn't it? You were displaying your activity like this on your graph. Milestone chart was an improvement over your bar chart. In milestone chart you had the same activity, but you broke down the activity into individual events. So your milestone chart became event oriented and your bar chart became activity oriented. Is it okay? Moving on, PERT. This is just a simple anecdote to differentiate between PERT and CPM. PERT is used for activities being done for the first time, so you are uncertain about their duration. Example, Mars mission. Any research project or defense project can also be an example. While your CPM is used for repetitive activity. Example, your construction activities. Okay, you already have some idea about the duration, so that duration you can use for your CPM. How to estimate the duration of activity? How will you estimate? Okay, I have already told you in PERT we are having uncertain duration, so I have told you we are going to need help of probability. So that is what I have written here. In PERT we don't know the duration of the activity, so we need to estimate the duration. For estimation of duration, we want to make use of probability. How are we going to derive the duration of an activity? Suppose TE I am calling from now on as the duration of your activity, or expected duration of activity. Okay, TE will now on represent your expected duration of activity. This TE is supposed to be, or is consumed to be, composed of TO Tm and Tp. In the next slide you will see what is these three time. Okay, so I am telling you that the duration of an activity, okay, the duration of an activity from here on, the duration of your activity, okay, will be composed of three time durations. One is your optimistic time duration, your mean time duration, and your pessimistic time duration. Optimistic time duration, as from the name it is clear that you are having favorable conditions. Since you are having favorable conditions for activities, your activity will be finished earlier, so the duration will be very less. Okay, from now on we will represent it by TO. Second is your most likely activity. Most likely activity means your work is under normal conditions. Okay, so it will take the normal amount of time, not very quickly it will finish, nor it will take a very long time. Okay, now we are going to note it by Tm. Okay, third is your pessimistic activity. Pessimistic obviously means that you will have some problems or some delays in your project, so your pessimistic time will be very high and it is under negative conditions. Okay, this point here that I have written in bold is very important. It is asked in objective like this. In pessimistic activity we are saying that negative conditions are existing, but still in pessimistic time you are not considering catastrophic failures or catastrophic effects like flood or earthquake. Okay, these things, if flood is coming to your site or earthquake is coming, your project is obviously delayed, but those things are not considered while estimating your pessimistic time. This question is mostly asked in objective, so you take care of that. Moving on, models used for estimation. Okay, some of the models I am going to use, okay, for probabilistic estimation. First one is your normal. You are familiar with this one, normal distribution. Okay, you are having frequency here, your time here, and your normal distribution looks something like this, isn't it? It is symmetric about a center. It looks something like this. So normal, or it is called bell-shaped or Gaussian, it is the most likely estimator. Then you have your beta. These two are going to be called as your beta estimators. Beta estimators or beta curves. Okay, left skewed and right skewed. You can just remember the name for now. We have three types of models. We have your normal model, normal distribution, left skewed beta model, right skewed beta model. Is it okay? In the next slide things will become more clear. This is your normal distribution, isn't it? Normal distribution. Okay, be very careful here. Okay, things will become very clear here. This is your frequency on the y-axis and you have your time on the x-axis. What is this time? This is the time TO. TO means the optimistic time. As I have already told you, when you are having your optimistic time, your activity will be finished very quickly. So TO is the smallest. This is the amount of TO, isn't it? TO will obviously be the smallest because it is your optimistic time. You are having favorable conditions, so your activity is finished early on. Center point here, this one, is your Tm. That is the most likely time that you are going to get under normal conditions. This time is called as your pessimistic time. This is the largest time. Okay, this is the length of your pessimistic time, so it is the largest time, and this is called as your pessimistic time. That is, you are having negative conditions, so your project is delayed. Okay, moving on, you are having these curves. Okay, these two curves are representing your beta estimators. Beta estimators they are called. This, as you can guess, this curve, this should be the center of the curve. It is slightly shifted towards the left, isn't it? It is slightly shifted towards the left. Okay, so they are called as your left skewed. Okay, left skewed. Okay, beta curves. Similarly, if you see somewhere here is the center and this is slightly tilted towards your right, isn't it? So they are called right skewed beta estimator. Is it okay? Estimator. Also you can see here you are having your optimistic time. This one here at the center will be your most probable time, and this is here is your peak time. So your mean time or the most likely time is closer to your optimistic time. So you can say it is an optimistic estimator. Is it okay? optimistic estimator. Similarly, you can say here that at the center you have your most likely time, and here you have your pessimistic time. This time your mean time is closer to your pessimistic time, so you can say this is your pessimistic, ignore the spelling, okay, pessimistic estimator. Is it okay? Pessimistic estimator. Moving on, I have a small comparison here. You have been given with two curves, curve number 1 and curve number 2. Curve number 1, as you can see, varies from t equal to 2 to t equal to 8. You have a wide range of time. Curve number 2 has a very narrow band of time, only from 3 to 5. Suppose I am asking you which curve, okay, which curve is showing more uncertainty. Which curve is showing more uncertainty? So your answer is obviously 1, isn't it? Because you are having a very wide range of time from 2 to 8. Your activity can finish in any of these time in this range, okay? But in your curve 2 you have a small range, so you can say that your curve 1 is highly uncertain. Is it okay? Moving on, since we are going to see a little bit about probability, it is probably a good idea to brush up some of the formulas. You already know these formulas. How will you determine the mean? Sum of the activities divided by number of activities. Is it okay? I am just brushing up the formulas. How do you determine your standard deviation? Standard deviation, okay. Sigma is given by how much? It is equal to under root of summation of t minus t mean square divided by number of values that you are having. This is your standard deviation. Square of your standard deviation is what? Variance, okay. So while you are reading PERT, you should be familiar with mean, okay, standard deviation and variance. Is it okay? Moving on. Now talking about our activity, okay, suppose we are having some activity A and I want to know the standard deviation in the activity A. Obviously your activity A is an uncertain activity, the duration is unknown, so we have used some probability to estimate the activity. Just now we have seen we are using a normal distribution curve to determine the activity duration, isn't it? So how will you determine the standard deviation of the curve? Okay, I am giving you a small example. I am showing you two curves here. Okay, you are having your normal distribution. Suppose your activity A is assumed to be following normal distribution. Here somewhere you will be having your Tm, okay. Here somewhere you are having your To, and at the end you are having your pessimistic time. Is it okay? On x-axis you have your time, okay, and on y-axis you have your frequency. You must be knowing about the general normal distribution curve. The general normal distribution curve looks like something like this, okay. Suppose your normal distribution curve looks something like this. If we consider that our y-axis is somewhere here at the center, okay, you know this, okay. Suppose I am drawing three lines here, and here. This is suppose your sigma, this is your minus sigma, and this is your 0. Here you are having your 2 sigma, minus 2 sigma, okay. Here you are having your 3 sigma and minus 3 sigma. You already know this. I am just revising you. This whole area from minus 3 sigma to sigma constitute almost 99.7% of this total area. That means all your probability is included from minus 3 sigma to plus 3 sigma, okay. Using the analogy between these two curves, what we can say here? What is this range? This range can be Tp minus To, isn't it? And what is this range? This range is your 3 sigma to minus 3 sigma. That is the range numerically is 6 sigma. So we can say my Tp minus To is equal to 6 sigma. So my sigma will come out to be Tp minus To upon 6. This is the formula that we are going to use, okay. This is the formula that we are going to use for our standard deviation. You should remember this formula directly. I think it is understood. Moving on, expected time. expected time. I've already told you we are trying to find the expected time of activity, and it is dependent on 3 times, that is your optimistic, most likely and pessimistic time. So a formula is derived like this for your estimated time, that is given by weighing factor to your 3 times. Weighing factor means that weighing factor of 1 is given to your optimistic time, weighing factor of 4 is given to your mean time, and weighing factor of 1 is given to your pessimistic time, and then you will have your 1 plus 4 plus 1. So your expected time, okay, your expected time will come out to be TE plus 4TM plus TP divided by 6. This is the formula that we are going to be using. You should understand how this time is derived. This is derived by providing suitable weighing factor. Sometime it is asked in objective. Is it okay? So, by giving suitable weighing factor. So in the entire part, these 2 formulas will be very, very important. So you remember these 2 formulas. Your expected time is given by optimistic time 4 times of most likely time plus pessimistic time divided by 6. One formula is this, and the other one is for your standard deviation. Your standard deviation is given by TP minus TO upon 6. Is it okay? I think you are able to understand now. Moving on. Till now we were only discussing about a single activity. Okay, we were only discussing about a single activity, but now suppose you are having a series of activity. Okay, suppose you are having a series of activity like this. This is your one activity A, then you have another activity B, then you will have another activity C. This is your entire project. Okay, this is your entire project. This is the start of your project and this is the end of your project. I want you to find the expected time for your project. Is it okay? And standard deviation for your project, not for your activity, for your project. Suppose TA, or for your activity A, your expected time is TA and standard deviation is sigma L. For your activity B, your expected time is TB and sigma B. Similarly for your activity C. Is it okay? Now I can say that the expected time of finishing of my project is simply given by summation of expected time of all activities in series. Is it okay? That means it is given by TA plus TB plus TC. Okay. Standard deviation of my project is given by, or rather I am writing project here. Okay. Standard deviation of my project is given by sigma A plus sigma B plus sigma C. Don't make this mistake. I have written it just because I want you not to make this mistake. Many people make this mistake. Standard deviation never gets added, only your variance can get added. Okay, so you can write the variance of your project. This is wrong. Okay, this is wrong. Don't remember this. Your sigma project square will be equal to sigma A square plus B square plus C square. So your project's standard deviation is given by under root of summation of sigma square. Is it okay? Is it okay? So finally I am summing up what are the 2 formulas that you have to remember. You should remember that your expected time in your project will be given by summation of your activities. Okay, and then your standard deviation of your project is given by under root of summation of sigma square. Is this okay? This is for your project. Moving on, total standard deviation of series and activity, series of activity that we just discussed. Your sigma square, sigma project square is given by sigma 1 square, 2 square and so on. So your sigma for your project is given by under root of summation of sigma square. Is it okay? That we have already discussed. Moving on, this is very important. Okay, this is very, very important. Probability that activity is completed at time t or less. At time tm say I am talking about. Till now we have seen 3 types of curve. Okay, I am showing you all the 3 types of curves, 2 and your third one. We have seen 3 types of curve. First one that we saw is our normal distribution. Okay, Second one that we saw is our left skewed, and the other one that we saw is our right skewed, isn't it? These are the three types of curve that we saw. We saw that this is your TM somewhere here, this is your TO and TP. Similarly, you have your TM for this here closer to TO, okay, and here you are having your TP, TO, your TM and TP. These are the three curves that we saw. This was your normal, this was your left skewed, and this was your right skewed. Is it okay? What I want to ask you is probability that the activity is completed at time Tm. At time Tm, suppose you are having normal distribution, the probability that your activity is completed at time Tm, okay, so your probability distribution curve will be given by this area, isn't it? This area, okay. What is the probability? Probability is shaded area divided by total area, isn't it? So you already know this normal distribution curve is symmetric, isn't it? It is symmetric. So what you can say that obviously if it is symmetric, this shaded area is 50% of the total area. 50% of total area. So for this curve you can say that the probability that your activity is completed at time Tm is 50% exactly. Is it okay? 50% exactly. Now come here to this curve. Come here to this curve. What is the probability that your activity or your project or your activity is completed at Tm? For left skewed, it is directly asked in objective. Be very careful, okay? For if your activity has to be completed on Tm for left skewed, you can see clearly that your probability area is the formula remains same. Your shaded area divided by total area, isn't it? Now you can clearly see that your shaded area is less than 50% of total area, okay, less than 50% of total area. So you can say that your probability that activity is completed at time Tm is less than 50%. Is it okay? Less than 50%. I think you are able to understand. Similarly, go here. Now you can clearly see that this area, shaded area, is greater than 50% of your entire area. So you can say probability here is greater than 50%. These things are directly asked in objective. Be very careful, okay? Suppose rather than Tm, he is talking about some general time T. Some general time T. Suppose you are having your curve here. This is your normal distribution. Suppose I am saying somewhere here you are having your TO, isn't it? Here your TM and somewhere here your TP. Suppose I am saying what is the probability that your activity is completed on or before time T. Okay, general time T I am talking about. Just now we have talked about time Tm, but now I am saying suppose there is some general time T. Okay, what is the probability that your activity is completed? You know the probability, it is this area divided by total area, isn't it? This area, your probability is given by shaded area divided by total area. Now you will ask me, how will I calculate the shaded area? How will I know this value? Okay, earlier it was easy to guess whether it is greater than 50% or less than 50%, but now how will you guess? So for that, if you remember, okay, if you have some idea about normal distribution, okay, you have these charts that directly give you this amount of area. Okay, those charts are based on value z. Based on value z, your value z is given by T minus mu upon sigma. Do you remember this value? You must have heard about x minus mu by sigma, isn't it? In normal distribution, that is the same thing. If you know this value, you can look up the chart and you can get the value of this area. Okay, so T minus mean divided by standard deviation, this value you calculate and then you see straight away go to the chart for normal distribution. Is it okay? You will get the value of this probability. We will see one question so that things will become more clear. Okay, so I think we have seen the theory for PERT till now. Now we want to see some of the questions so that you get a little more confident. So let's solve a couple of questions. First of all, what does this type of representation means? 468. Suppose you are given with some activity A and I am writing 468. What does that mean? That means that your 4 represent your optimistic time, 6 represent your mean time, and 8 represents your pessimistic time. This is the meaning of this type of representation. Okay, so before we proceed into this question, we can name these activities as X, Y, and Z. What is asked in your question? This is your question. What is asked in your question? Find the expected time for completion of project. Also find standard deviation in project. So we already know this. We know that the expected time of your project is the summation of all the time. That means summation of Tx, Ty, and Tz, isn't it? And the standard deviation of your project, or rather the notation does not involve any E here. Standard deviation of your project is given by summation of, or rather under root summation of sigma square, that is under root of sigma x square plus sigma y square plus sigma z square. So in this question, all you have to do is find the expected time for each activity and standard deviation for each activity. How you solve this type of question is, you make a small table. You write activity X, Y, and Z. Here you write your TO, TM, TP. Then you evaluate the expected time and standard deviation. Is it okay? You make this type of table, it is better. Okay. TO for X is given as 4, 6, 8. For Y it is 5, 7, 11. You look here, 5, 7, 11, and then you have 4, 10, 12. So you have 4, 10, and 12. How do you evaluate your expected time? Your expected time is given by TO plus 4TM plus TP divided by 6. So you have all the three values, TO, TM, and TP. Just put the values and get the value of expected time. Is it okay? It is very simple. So if you solve, you will get the expected time for X as 6, for Y as 7.33, and for Z as 9.33. Now you want to evaluate your standard deviation. For standard deviation also the formula is given, TP minus TO by 6. So you know TP, you know TO for all the activities. TP minus TO, that means 8 minus 4 upon 6. Okay, so you will get a standard deviation for each activity. Here you will get 0.67, here you will get 1, and here you will get as 1.33. Is it okay? So you have all the values now. Okay, so you can get the expected time of completion of project, that is summation of T, that is summation of these three values. Okay, summation of these three values, you will get it as 6, 7.33, and 9.33. So you will get your expected time as, I think you will get 22.66, isn't it? 22.66. And your standard deviation for the project is given by under root of summation of sigma square, that is under root of 0.67 square plus 1 square plus 1.33 square. If you solve it, you will get it as 1.79. This is the standard deviation for your project. Okay, I think you understood how to apply these formulas. Moving on to the next question. Next question is a very simple question. It is just asked in this question, you have two engineers. I don't know if you are able to see this or not. This is engineer X. Okay, I am reading it, you just be careful. This is engineer X and this is engineer Y. Okay, they have estimated some value for optimistic time, most likely time, and pessimistic time. This is TO, TM, and TP. Okay, both engineers have estimated some values for TO, TM, and TP. It is asked that among the two engineers X and Y, who is more certain? Who is more certain? Who is more certain? Okay, when do you say that your data is more certain? When you have standard deviation value less. Is it okay? When you have a small standard deviation or variance. Standard deviation is less means your variance is obviously less, because variance is nothing but sigma square. So when you have a small standard deviation or variance, you get more certainty about your results. Is it okay? More certainty. So all you have to do in this question is you evaluate the standard deviation for x and you evaluate the standard deviation for y. What is the value of standard deviation? It is TP minus TO by 6. For x, your TP is 8 minus 4 by 6, and for your y it is again TP minus TO by 6. This time TP is 8, this is 3 divided by 6. Is it okay? So you will get this value. I think we have just calculated, it is 0.67. okay, and this value will come out to be how much? 0.7 something. Is it okay? 0.7 something it will come. So you can say that your standard deviation of y is greater than x, so your x is more certain about his results. His results are more certain. Is it okay? Very easy. You just remember this line. Okay. Obviously when your standard deviation or variance is more, that means your data is more scattered, so it is very uncertain. Okay. By that logic you can solve this question. Now we have a big question. Okay, I am only going to solve for one path. You can do it for all the other paths. Okay, you are been given with this type of network diagram. You are given with this network diagram. What is asked is find the expected time from all paths. All paths means your starting activity is this one, isn't it? You are starting for here and you have to end your activity here. So you have many paths by which you can reach here. Suppose one path is 1, 2, 7, 8, like this, 1, 2, 7 and 8. One path is this one. The other path can be straight away 1, 3, 6, 8. Is it okay? The other path can be 1, 2, 6 and then 8. Is it okay? 1, 2, 6 and then 8. More paths can be there, 1, 4, 5, 6 and 8. 1, 4, 5, 6 and 8. I think these are the 4 paths that is possible. So for each path he is asking you calculate the expected activity and determine the critical path. Okay, I am solving for one path, you can solve for the other path. Okay, how will you determine the critical activity? Okay, in the next lecture I am going to introduce critical activity, but I am giving you a little idea about critical activity. Critical activities are the activities that if you delay any activity which is a critical activity, your final project duration is going to get affected. Okay, or it is in a statement it is said like this: any delay in this activity means the critical activity. Okay, any delay in critical activity leads to delay of project. Okay, that means your critical activities are always your first priority. You cannot delay your critical activities. Is it okay? Suppose I am choosing the path 1, 2, 7, 8 for which I am solving. Okay, so how you will decide the critical activity from expected time? For each of these paths 1, 2, 3 and 4, we have 4 paths. For each of these paths you calculate your expected activity. Suppose this is 1, you will get TE2, TE3 and TE4. Is it okay? Whichever one is the largest TE is your critical path, and all activities lying on critical path are critical activities. Is it okay? Largest TE means the one which is deciding your duration, isn't it? Whichever path is leading to the largest TE is the one which is deciding your project duration, and that is what is the definition of critical activity, the one that is going to affect your final duration. So the largest TE is going to be your critical activity. Okay, I am solving one path. Suppose I am solving 1, 2, 7, 8. Is it okay? 1, 2, 7, 8 I am solving. Okay, 1, 2, 7, 8 I am solving. So I have told you, you make a chart. Okay, just like in the first question that we have made, you keep activity here, you keep TO, TP or TO, TM and TP. You have expected time. Is it okay? We don't need standard deviation in this question, so I am not putting standard deviation. Activity is 1, 2, 2, 7 and 7, 8. Okay, I am showing you the activities. I am calculating for this path. Let me use another color. For rest of the paths you can do it on your own. I am calculating for this path. Okay, the red path 1, 2. So one activity is this 1, 2, other activity is 2, 7 and the other activity is 7, 8. Is it okay? So what are you having? For 1, 2 you are having 6, 8, 11. Is it okay? Then 8, 10, 12. 8, 10 and 12. And for the last activity you are having 5, 8 and 12. Can you evaluate TE for each activity? You know TE. TE is nothing but TO plus 4TM, okay, plus TP divided by 6. Is it okay? This is the formula. You know all the three values, TO, TM and TP for each activity. For each activity you can evaluate TE. Okay, TE you can evaluate. Is it okay? It will come out to be 8.17 for this one, 10 for this one, and 8.7 for 17 for this one. So what is the project duration as per this path? For 1, 2, 7, 8, what is the project duration? Summation of these activities. So what you will get? I think you will get 26.34 days. Is this clear? Okay. Similarly, you solve for all the other paths. You have 3 more paths, right? This I have done. You can similarly do for this path and this path. Okay. Get the value of expected time of project. Whichever is the largest, that is your critical path. Is it okay? You can solve on your own. It will be a good practice for you also. Solve for the other paths. Okay. In next class, we will discuss about PERT network diagrams. Thank you.